Chloe Swarbrick, I do believe this might have been yesterday in the House. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Bringing props to her conversation. Her props, what were they? Well, there were some school lunches as provided by this government.
Does the Prime Minister agree that his government's decision to cut funding for school lunches by up to 75% per child has reduced the quality of those lunches?
Yes.
I think what's important is that we actually are expanding
Yes. See, that's not difficult. Yes.
access for 10,000 more kids, and the money saved is actually
And those 10,000 more kids, what meals are they going to get? When are they going to be delivered? Remember, we reported 3 weeks ago when I was last here that some schools are receiving their lunches, but they're receiving them at 2:30, 3:30, even 4 o'clock. So 10,000 more kids are getting them, but how many people are actually receiving them for lunch?
going into delivering better resources in education and healthcare.
Is the Prime Minister aware that his government's choice to stop contracts with local providers and procure school lunches from...
This is brutal. This is brutal. What is that removing of that funding done to local communities? Go ahead, Chloe.
School lunches from a large corporation has cost approximately 2,000 local jobs in communities, as well as a reduction in the quality of this food.
What I'm excited about is that any savings made are being redirected to our kids so they get a better education, they get better healthcare.
Is the Prime Minister aware?
I find this frustrating. I wonder how Chloe finds this. Like asking a direct, like she's asked 2 questions now that he hasn't answered. I mean, what is the point? I guess it's called question time. So it's not called answer time. Maybe that's the truth. If it's called question time, then they don't have to give an answer, or else it'd be called answer time. Makes more sense, I guess.
Of how many of these lower quality lunches procured by his government are now ending up in landfill as a result of them being inedible?
Point of order, Right Honourable Speaker. Since when in standing orders is a member allowed to bring
Mr. Peters fell into a trap here because he's the one that identifies the lunches.
their lunch to Parliament, let alone having taken it from a school child? Come on. Since when?
Does
He's on fire.
may well raise a question about. I'm speaking. May well raise a question about where they came from, but generally the use of aids when it comes to making a point is not approved in the House. So I'm sure that the member won't make too much use of those items in front of him. Chloe Swarbrick.
Should I repeat the question, Mr. Speaker?
Well, you didn't start.
I'll repeat the question, Mr. Speaker. Is the Prime Minister aware of how many of these lower quality lunches procured by his government are now ending up in landfill as a result of them being inedible for...
Because remember, the big thing about this was waste. That's what this government said. Waste. Waste of school lunches.
Yeah.
And we're going to do it better. Hey, you with us, Spides? Welcome. Welcome, Whānau.
Hello. I've reset everything. I tried a different computer. That didn't work. Oh, my God. It's crazy. However, a few years ago, probably 2022 it started, where they were filming lunches being dumped or given away to pigs and things like that.
Yep.
And so they're literally now living the same scenario. You probably already said that. Sorry, I was away in the ether for a second there, but I'm back.
No, and the worst thing as we continue this video is the pigs are getting worse meals now because these things are shit, which we'll show you very, very shortly.
For our kids.
Just encourage the member to direct the question at the relevant minister.
You coward. You absolute coward. But remember, question time. It's not called answer time, so...
Mr. Speaker, will the Prime Minister... Will the Prime Minister...
No, hang on. Just wait. It's your colleagues who are making all the noise.
Will the Prime Minister then commit to eating the same lunches that he is forcing on our school children, like one of these 3 that I have bought for each of the leaders of his government? And if not, is there one standard of acceptable food for parliamentarians and another for our children?
Well, I'm more worried about which children are missing out on those lunches that you've nicked them from.
Nicked them.
Supplementary question, the Honourable David Seymour.
Is the Prime Minister...
This is... I've heard many people who know Seymour better say he's smart, but he actually proves the point here by saying lunches aren't getting through to students. You watch.
Minister, aware that the people delivering the Healthy School Lunch Program, the School Lunch Collective, are highly qualified and skilled in delivering food, unlike Chloe Swarbrick. And if he knew that, would he be surprised to hear feedback that we've received, such
this
as,
is the feedback
quote,
one.
received our first lunches from the new lunch program today, and the students and staff were very impressed, exclamation mark. Lunches arrived on time and they were nice and hot, and students said they were filling and had flavour, end quote.
Well, I appreciate what the Minister is doing to make sure that we deliver a better healthy lunch programs and also free up cash that can...
This is the definition of gaslighting, whānau, because they're not better and they're not healthier. And he's just saying
better
that
healthy
like it's
lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's saying,
no.
I've got some photos coming up and I've got some that, but this is the definition of gaslighting. He is saying the opposite of the truth, and he's hoping that if he says it enough and loud enough, people will believe it. His minions on Twitter and other places will just repeat it. It's not true. Just got to look at the scoreboard. Look at the scoreboard. We'll just get to the end of this, Spides, and I'll throw it back to you.
Be spent on education and getting our kids educated.
Supplementary.
Wait.
Is the Prime Minister's...
Hang on. Just wait. Then I'll give you the nod. Now would be good.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those eyebrows.
Is the Prime Minister's stated obsession with growth always going to come at the cost of our children's well-being?
It's because of our children's well-being we want growth. That's actually how they access higher paying jobs, more jobs, higher incomes, be able to afford the things that they want to do and live the dreams that they have.
Question 10, Mark Cameron. Oh, supplementary, the Honourable David Seymour.
Mr. Speaker, is the Prime Minister aware that yesterday the school lunch program achieved 100% on-time delivery?
Good. Sounds good, 100%. But remember, he puts his foot in it here, and he does actually release information that goes, not everyone's getting these lunches. You have a listen.
In every region, with two exceptions. Where in one case 95% on-time delivery was achieved, and in the other case 92% on-time delivery.
So he just told us, Spides, with his own mouth, that some kids aren't getting their lunches on time. 100% in all regions except two, where it was 95 and 92. So yes, you've just confirmed. No one said, Mr. Seymour, that everyone's not getting their lunches late, but people have been saying some have been, and you've just used a supplementary question to repeat that as what you think is a gotcha, but all you're doing is confirming that there are some kids in your new system who are not receiving their lunches on time. Spider.
Well, to be honest, I think that if they paid a little less attention to speed and haste and actually put the focus on quality food, no child's going to be concerned that they're a bit late. But on time and inedible is a massive concern. So it's not even a win for them to be on time, because they can't be eaten once they're there. So what's the point in delivering on time when the outcome is still children unable to consume those lunches?
I think it's important as well to remind people why this government has made such a big deal about this, and they want to get it. They want to make it better than the last lot, because remember, team, the last lot, they had terrible meals. The meals they were providing were woke.
And for the big kids, what they'll get each day, according to the ACT Party, will be fruit and sandwiches, not woke food like quinoa and sushi.
Can you please explain how sushi is woke?
Oh, look, if you don't get that sushi is woke, I don't know how to wake you up.
So, utter moron. But remember what he said, sandwiches and fruit. Sandwiches and fruit. We got that? All right, let's have a look, shall we, team? Here you go. Here's some of the school lunches that are being delivered. Anyone see any sandwiches in there? Any fruit? Actually, does anyone see any food in there? Is there anything identifiable as food in there?
I had to stare at that ball of white for a really long time to make out that it wasn't a ball of maggots. It was actually some sort of pasta, noodles, cheese and mac or something like that. It took me ages. I could not work out what that was.
And remember as well, right? Look, I get it. When you go into McDonald's, not that I've done it for a very long time, but when you go into McDonald's, the Big Mac up on the wall doesn't necessarily look like the Big Mac in your cardboard foldy thing. But this is for our kids. Let's just also remind you, when these school lunches were launched, what they were looking like. And we have to do that by simply showing you the worst piece of PR Seymour's ever done when he ate some of the lunches at the launch. And you can see by his face, he's not happy with what's gone in. He did the worst job of trying to convince us that this food that was put out there during the launch was any good. Let's have a wee reminder.
The new menu starts being dished up in the new year.
That was
So it was, okay, so here's the pictures of the school lunches. Let's have a look. Look. Looks lovely, looks fine, looks good. So that's what they were promising. That is there. Remember, Whānau, we judge these guys based on their yardsticks. I think those are sandwiches there. Look, sandwiches rolled up, or fresh bread. Look, look at that, fresh and fruity. That's what we were promised, right? That's what they promised. That's what they promised. That's their yardstick. That's what they delivered. And if you're listening to the audio podcast, you'll have to get on and have a look. We are 52 minutes and 10 seconds in. That is what they delivered. So promised, delivered. National 2026. Under promising in everything we do. Go for it, Spides.
It's just such a farce, because the real goal here is for them to stop it altogether, because they don't want to pay for children to have lunches. That's the real goal here. And so this slop that they're serving up is in the hopes that kids are rejecting it and throwing it away, and then they can pull a double whammy on them, going, look, kids don't even need lunches, they're not even eating them, so that we're just going to stop them. And this is, I would say, on purpose, that it's been a slow digression into this awful food, because it's the end of the year and budgets are running out and they're just putting together bullshit meals. But I believe that is actually the game plan. Like, well, if you guys throwing away good, as Luxon said, good healthy meals, that's part of the lie. They will now say, look, nobody's eating them, let's just get rid of them. It was always a bad idea. But yeah, that's exactly where they're heading with this.
So let's have a look at this again, right? This is a part of the same story for the launch. Have a look at the sandwiches they're making, because they look great. You know, look, lots of bread. Look, some ham on there. Good. Oh, that's a kind of a slaw on there as well. That's all looking pretty good. I agree. That's a pretty good sandwich for a for a school kid.
Fine.
So
it's a school
that's
lunch,
that's what they were showing, and I'll do it again. This is what they're delivering. So this is not even one. People talk about, oh, you and your echo chamber and all you left. It's like, no. We're judging these. I won't even go back to the woke quinoa and sushi. I don't even need to look at those. We don't need to look at what was served under Labour. All we need to do is look at what was promised under National. And what was promised under National was not the prison food slop that is being delivered. And that's sort of the end of the conversation. But we're seeing it again and again and again. Promising, undelivering. Promising, not delivering at all, not saying anything, doing a lot. Smoke-free 2025. Nothing said, over-delivering on people with cancer. You know, just promising, under-delivering. We're seeing it everywhere. We've got to keep remembering what they said they'd do, Dunedin Hospital, and what they are now doing. Promising, undelivering. Anything else on that, Spides?
That's because you're not looking at their real promises. We're actually, those promises that they're keeping were to their mega wealthy landlord mates and all the tax breaks that they're giving wealthy people who paid for them to be in charge right now. So they have delivered to them. You're just looking at it from the wrong angle. The rest of us have to keep paying those mega wealthy landlords with 200 homes because that's what they promised. But yeah, as far as any promises made for the ordinary people, it is just a lie. Even the tax break, that is not a tax break. It is just a PR stunt The amount of funds that people who really need it are getting is abysmal, and it's just shameful. But the amount of people earning over 180K are getting more than somebody earning under minimum wage. I think it's 48. Yeah, so the promises that they keep are only the promises they made to their sponsors, nobody else.
And the promises they never told anyone about are also the ones that are going to benefit their sponsors, the top 1%, the landlords, those things as well.
The tobacco industry, everything
Well, that's
else.
exactly what I was going to say. Petroleum industry as well when it comes to what they've done with the EV market. You know, it's like, how about at the end of your first term? Who are the people or groups that have gotten best out of you? And if your answer is landlords, if your answer is the petroleum companies, you know, and your answer is big tobacco, you've had a pretty shit first term. Sorry, but you have.
Yep.